What's up guys? In this video, I have a tutorial on how to solve the 2x2 blindfolded. I received a request to make this video recently, and I thought, why not? Solving the 2x2 blindfolded is extremely rewarding, and it's a really great way to practice moving on to bigger cubes, such as the 3x3, and even the 4x4 and 5x5, though I can't solve those blindfolded yet. In the future, I hope to be able to learn them, but for now, here's what I do to solve the 2x2 blindfolded. I hope that this helps you and you can learn something new. Solving your 2x2 blindfolded is very different to your standard 2x2 method, where you will first make a face, and then use an OLL, a PLL, and then or a CLL to finish the cube off, whatever it is that you use. Instead, what we are doing is we will be using just one algorithm to swap the pieces around the cube until the cube is solved. So, before I start teaching you what I am doing, I just want to quickly say that if you don't understand what I'm about to try and teach you and you're having a lot of difficulty with it, I would highly recommend you to go watch JPerm's video. He explains it a lot better than I do, and JPerm is the one who taught me, and so I'm basically just going to be repeating what he has told me in this video. So I would highly recommend watch JPerm's video, link in the description if you can't understand this one. So to start off, with solving the 2x2 blindfolded, we will be assigning a letter to every single face on the cube, because with our algorithm that we will be using our letters to figure out where each piece on the cube needs to go. I will explain. So first of all, we need to actually figure out what we're doing with these letters. What do I mean? Well, what I mean is you may notice on the 2x2 you've got 8 pieces, and each piece has 3 different sides. Each of these sides will be given a letter. So the lettering scheme looks like this: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X. So that is how you break up your 2x2 pieces into a lettering scheme. Now, before we can go any further, we need to learn the one algorithm that we are going to be using to swap these pieces around the cube. This algorithm is actually just YPerm without the F moves at the start and at the end. So the algorithm goes like this: R, U prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R prime, F, R. This is our swapping algorithm. Next, you need to understand how we are going to use this swapping algorithm to solve the cube. Take a look at your letter E. This spot on the cube is our buffer. What is our buffer? Our buffer is basically the color, the sticker on the cube that will be swapped around with our algorithm. Now, our buffer will swap from E to V. So in other words, if I do the algorithm, you will notice that this blue sticker here will come down into place of this V, and the V will be swapped, this white sticker will be swapped with the blue. So let's just go ahead and do the alg. Now you'll see that we've got our white sticker in place of E. Now blue sticker has been swapped down to the V. So how will we actually be using our buffer and our swapping algorithm to solve the 2x2? First of all, I'm going to give you an example where I will show you how you use your buffer and your swapping algorithm to solve the cube. Second, I will show you how to memorize your cube using our lettering scheme. And finally, I will teach you about cycles, which is something that you will need to understand in order to solve any cube blindfolded. So let's get started. For the first example, hold the white top, green front, and do this scramble. U prime, R2, F, R, U, R prime, U prime. The cube should look like this when we're finished scrambling it. When I start solving the 2x2 blindfolded, I always find my blue, red, and white corner piece and put it at the back left. This is a personal choice of mine because it immediately tells me, because I have a memorized color scheme, that my green, red goes here, down in this slot, my orange, green, white should go here, and my blue, red, white, my blue, orange, white belongs here, and that my blue, yellow, orange is up here, my green, yellow, orange is up here, and so on. To start off, how in the world do we use our one swapping algorithm and our buffer to solve this? First, we need to actually take a look at our buffer. Look specifically at the sticker color. You'll notice that we have in our buffer our yellow, green, and red corner piece, and the buffer is specifically our red spot. We need to now locate where this belongs on the cube. So down here we've got our white, blue, and red corner piece. And that would tell us that our green, yellow, and red corner piece, now the specific sticker in the buffer, where does this belong on the piece here? Well, it belongs here because red goes with red. So that means this needs to swap to F. Do you remember how I told you that the buffer swaps from E to V? That's exactly what it does. So that means we need to bring F down into place of V. And that means we need to do some setup moves. Now, to set up F to V, we could do something like this. However, that is breaking a very crucial rule. And that rule is that your setup moves must never move the buffer from its position. So instead, what we can do to set up F to V is something like this. F prime, D. Now we need to execute our swapping algorithm. And you will notice now we've put our yellow, red, and green piece down in the position where this piece once was. Finally, we need to undo our setup moves. So D prime, F. And you will notice this piece is now solved correctly in position relative to this piece. Next, what do we do? Well, we need to take a look at our buffer again. And you will notice this time, in position, we've got our orange, yellow, blue corner piece, and in the buffer position, it's our blue sticker. So we need to identify where this piece belongs on the cube. This is our yellow, orange, and blue piece, which belongs up here. And specifically, the blue sticker belongs here, which is Q. So what we need to do is bring Q down into position of V. To do this, we need to do some setup moves. And this can be done like this. R, D prime. Next, we need to do our swapping algorithm and undo our setup moves. So D, R prime. And you will now notice we've got another piece on the cube which has been solved. Continuing on, we need to look at our buffer again. So in this case, we've got our yellow, green, and orange corner piece, and the orange is in our buffer position. Our orange, yellow, and green corner piece belongs over here, and specifically the orange belongs here. So to solve this, what we need to do is do some setup moves to make sure that this piece, M, goes down into V. And we can do this by doing an F. Next, we need to do our swapping algorithm and undo the setup move, so F prime. The next step is look at our buffer, and once again we've got our red, green, white piece. The next step is look at our buffer, and in it we've got our white, green, and red piece, and in the buffer position is a red sticker. This piece on the cube belongs down in here, and specifically the red sticker goes here, which is G. So we need to set up G to V, which can be done like that. Next, we need to do our swapping algorithm, and then undo the setup move. Once again, we need to look at our buffer. So here we've got the orange from the green and white piece. Green and white belongs down in here. So we need to make sure the orange, where does the orange go? Well, it belongs over here. So we need to put P into position of V. This can seem tricky, but if you think about it, you can do all your setup moves in 3 moves or less. In this case, for P, we can do it like this. Now you need to do your algorithm and undo your setup moves. Now we need to take a look around the cube again. We've got our white, blue, orange corner piece, which belongs down in this slot. In our buffer position, we have the orange sticker. This orange sticker belongs down here on the cube, so this is O. Now we need to set O up to V, and we can do this by doing R2 F. Do your swapping algorithm. Now you need to undo your setup moves, and look at that, we have solved the 2x2 using just one algorithm and swapping the pieces around on the cube. How cool is that? So, now that we've actually seen how we can solve a cube by using the swapping algorithm and the buffer, I'm going to show you, using the same scramble, how we would plan out our memorization. So first things first, we need to look at the buffer once again. So with the buffer, we've got our red sticker on our yellow, green, red corner piece. This red sticker belongs here, which is F. Next, instead of going and doing the swapping alg and doing the setup moves and then undoing the setup moves, what we're going to do instead is just look at F, because this now becomes our buffer. After we do the swapping algorithm, this sticker comes to the buffer. So we go from F. Now where does this piece belong? This is the blue sticker on our yellow, orange, blue corner piece, and that belongs up here at the back. So this blue sticker specifically belongs in Q. So that means F, Q. So when you memorize your letters, you really want to break them up into pairs. So FQ would look like this. This is what you want to keep in your mind. So it can be pretty difficult because when you memorize a 3x3, you can get up to over 20 different letters, but on a 2x2, you shouldn't end up with more than 10. Anyways, so continuing on, we're on Q. This orange specifically belongs here, which is M. Now we're looking at this red sticker. This red sticker belongs down here, which is G. F, G, yep, G. Even I forget the lettering scheme sometimes and have to ABC it out. So, going back to our lettering scheme, our memorization, we've got F, Q, M, G. The trick is you've got to remember it, and that's why it helps to break them up into pairs. So it's F, Q, M, G. Now looking at G, from G, this sticker here belongs down here, which is P. So F, Q, M, G, P. And from P, we're going to here, which is O. Now here's the thing, when you do this, you want to make sure when you find your piece, you need to be able to identify which piece is your original buffer. In this case, our yellow, blue, and red corner piece belongs in the buffer. And if you've done your memorization correctly and you don't have any corners flipped or anything, then the sticker that belongs in the buffer position should be the one that you finish your memorization on. So the memorization for this 2x2 scramble would look like this. F, Q, M, G, P, O. That's our memorization. So now that we've finished memorizing the 2x2, we lower our blindfold. I think for demonstration purposes, I'll let you have your sight back. And we begin. Setup moves for F. Swapping algorithm. Undo the setup moves. F. Now we got to do Q. So setup moves for Q. Not moving our buffer. Undo the setup moves. F, Q, M. Next we need to do G, so we'll set up G. F, Q, M, G, P. And finally, O. Now, here's the bit where we and then raise our blindfold and look and find a solved cube. Or if you stuffed up your memorization or your execution, then an unsolved cube. Alright, so now I need to teach you about something called cycles. This is something that you will need to understand in order to solve a 2x2 or anything else blindfolded. Cycles are extremely confusing, but I'll explain them as best as I can. So in this specific example that I have set up, we're going to start our memorization as normal. So we've got our yellow, green, and our red corner piece. This belongs here. In the buffer position is our red sticker, so that goes here, which is F. Here, this blue sticker belongs back here, which is T. In our position of T, we've got our white, green, and red corner piece. The red is where the T lands, so we need to put it back here, which is G. So currently, our memorization looks like F, T, G, and we've landed on the white sticker of the green, white, orange, and that belongs in V. Now here's something interesting. Notice that we've landed on the blue, red, and the yellow corner piece, and that is our buffer piece. This is where we're supposed to finish our solve. However, if you take a look, you'll notice that the G lands on V, and that is a yellow sticker, meaning this piece will not be solved when it ends up in its correct position. This shows that the cube is not yet solved. So if we just left the cube there and left the memorization there and decided, oh yeah, we're all cruisy, we're good to go, and then we started our solve, it wouldn't be solved. It'd look instead something like this. So coming back to here, what we need to do to fix this is start a new cycle. To do this, we need to pick a different piece. This is going to be our new buffer, but it's only temporary. Let me explain. So our memorization was F, T, G, V. This is where we left off. Now we need to pick a new piece. So what is left to be solved on the cube? If we take a look at these two pieces in the front here, you'll notice that none of our memorization has touched them yet. F, that solves this piece. T, the piece down here is solved. G, that means this piece has been solved. And finally V, this piece has been solved. So all of these pieces, not either of these two. That means these two are still unsolved. And so we need to start a new cycle with these two pieces to finish solving the 2x2. So to do this, I'm going to choose a random sticker on either piece. I tend to always choose yellow or white if it's a white piece that I need to start cycling. And that is what I'm going to swap to the buffer. So I'm going to pick M. Now our memorization looks like this. FT, GV, M. And now M is in our buffer position. From there, we need to figure out where M goes. So M, it belongs up here. Because this is our yellow, orange, and our blue corner piece, M belongs up here in the position of B. So our memorization will have a B added to it. Notice we've landed on our yellow, green, orange corner piece, specifically on the green sticker. This green sticker belongs here in this position, so that is I. Our memorization now looks like this. Because we've started a new cycle on this piece, if you remember we began the new cycle on M, whenever we land back on this piece, it doesn't matter if it's on C, M, or I, as soon as we land back on this piece, the cycle has ended. So we started the cycle on M and we're finishing it on I, meaning our cube should now be solved, because if we look at our memorization now, F, this piece is solved, T, this piece is solved, G, this piece is solved, V, this piece is solved, M, B, so that means we've solved this piece and now we're landing back on this one in I. That means now the entire cube should be solved. Let's execute the memorization and see if we have gotten it correct. So we need to begin with F. Next, we have T. After that is G. Then V. Next, if you remember, we started our new cycle, so M, B, and finally, I. And like that, we have finished solving our 2x2 by using a new cycle. So cycles are extremely difficult to understand, but once you get the hang of them, they get a little bit easier. If you didn't really understand what I was saying, go back and watch the video again and see if that helps. If not, I'd recommend going to JPerm's video. He explains it really well. But yeah, if you don't understand cycles, then you're not going to be able to solve the 2x2 blindfolded. It is complex, it is tricky, but lifting a blindfold to find a solved cube is so worth it, so I highly recommend you keep pushing, stay at it, and yeah, good luck! So that's it, guys. That's pretty much all you need to know to solve a 2x2 blindfolded. To sum up, you need to know the lettering scheme, the buffer, the swapping algorithm, and finally, how to start new cycles when you go solving your cube. Good luck with this. I hope that this has helped you. If you're struggling, feel free to give me any questions in the comments, and I'm happy to try and answer them. If I can help, I will. And yeah, if you've got any video requests, please let me know, and thank you for watching. Feel free to let me know how you go with learning the 2x2 blindfolded in the comments. I'd love to know. Anyways, catch you in the next one, guys. Bye!